been suggested was somewhat audacious. Experts said that the plan was, quote, definitely aggressive, and distribution would have to be seamless for us to be successful. One headline simply put it, quote, it won't be easy, end of quote. Well, it wasn't. When we took office, there was a lot that had to be done. We needed more vaccines, more vaccinators, more places for people to get vaccinated.
Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So in this video, let's discuss how you can get your third stimulus check of $1,400. But before you do that, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, turn on post notifications, and give this video a like. But first, let's hear what some of our politicians have to say about your third stimulus check, and possibly a fourth stimulus payment.
So I rise with tremendous pride, joy, and hope this day that as the House prepares to take this momentous step toward our democracy, passing H.R. 6, the Dream and Promise Act. I want to salute some of our leaders in Congress as I acknowledge the distinguished chair, Mr. Nadler of the committee, but Congresswoman Lucille Roybal-Allard, the godmother of this legislation, who carries forth a commitment to our newcomers to our country. It's in her DNA, same commitment of her father, the late Mr. Chairman Ed Roybal.
Now remember guys that you can check the Get My Payment tool on the IRS website, which will show eligible recipients the status of their third stimulus payment. And also a note on the website says that if you don't see your payment credited to your account, check with your bank to verify that they received it. The IRS will mail you a letter with additional information on this payment. The Get My Payment application will say payment status not available for the following reasons. Number 1, your payment has not been processed. Number 2, the IRS does not have enough information to issue you a payment. Or third, you are not eligible for a payment. Taxpayers who have provided bank information with the IRS will receive the direct deposit payments, while others will get a paper check or debit cards mailed to them. Officials said in the interest of speeding up the relief payments, the IRS will use the latest tax return available to determine who is eligible for a $1,400 stimulus check. Officials of the Treasury Department and the IRS said Friday the processing of the new round of stimulus payments have already begun. In fact, some people received a stimulus check over the weekend. The IRS notified financial institutions to expect roughly 90 million direct deposits on Wednesday in the first wave of distribution. Around 150,000 paper checks with a pay date of March 19th were sent out as well. The first payments were sent out yesterday, and according to the American Rescue Plan, the IRS has until December 31st to get all those payments out. For most people though, the payments will likely be received within the next 2 weeks or so. And for those of you on SSI or SSDI, according to the IRS, Social Security and other federal beneficiaries will generally receive this third payment the same way as their regular benefits. A payment date for this group will be announced very shortly. The Social Security Q&A page for the third stimulus payment is under construction. The IRS will send automatically the third stimulus payment to people who do not file a return but receive Social Security retirement, SSDI, railroad retirement benefits, supplemental security income, or Veterans Affairs benefits. So yes everybody, that is all the news in today's video. If you guys found this video helpful or useful, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and give this video a like. Thank you so much for watching everybody. Until next time, have a great day.
As he championed newcomers to our nation. She has been with this legislation for 20 years that I know of. And it was she and Howard Berman who introduced it initially a generation ago. 10 years ago, she authored this legislation, and we were successful on the floor. And we were successful in passing it in the House because of the leadership of Congresswoman Roybal-Allard, but also Chairwoman Nydia Velázquez, who at the time was the chair of the Hispanic Caucus. And the Hispanic Caucus really led the way, taught the Congress about what dreamers mean to America in case that had not been within the experience of our members. Nydia, and in this legislation today, Nydia Velázquez has the promise, this is Dreamers and Promise, she has the promise TPS and DED, and again, very important to our country. Yvette Clarke from the Congressional Black Caucus, who is very much a part of all of this today, has the TPS piece of this. And I was so pleased to hear this morning the KPAC, the Congressional Asian Pacific American Caucus have Congresswoman Strickland of African American and Korean descent speak in terms of what this means to Asian Pacific American community, something that Chair Judy Chu reminds us of every day. So this is now gone beyond the Hispanic Caucus to the Black Caucus, the Asian Pacific Caucus, and to all of us in the Congress. This legislation is protecting Dreamers and TPS and DED recipients, honors the truth that immigrants are the constant reinvigoration of our country. When they come here with their hopes and dreams and aspirations, these parents bringing their children, their hopes and dreams and aspirations for a better future for their children, that courage, that determination, those aspirations are American traits, and they all make America more American with all of that. Indeed, they are true and legitimate heirs, these Dreamers are, of our founders. E pluribus unum, from many one. We talk about that all the time. Many in this chamber have been part of the fight to protect our patriotic Dreamers for years. As I said, when I stood here for 8 hours and 6 minutes, the longest speech and record in the House in history about the Dreamers, I was reading letters that my members were handing me, the story of the Dreamers. And then Mr. Stanton mentioned, there are teachers, there are professionals, there are CEOs, there are entrepreneurs. They contribute to our community in every way. And I was so pleased to hear him talk about that, because one of the first meetings I ever was to about Dreamers was under the leadership of one of his predecessors, well, not his, but the predecessor of some of our members from Arizona. That would be Congressman Pastor, Mr. Chairman Pastor. Mr. Grijalva and Harry Mitchell, all three, had a meeting at Arizona State University about helping these young people. That was in 2007. So this has been going on for a while. Next month, as I mentioned, marks the 20th year since the DREAM Act was introduced by Congresswoman Roybal Allard, and it was on a bipartisan basis. Sadly, at the Senate, when we passed it 10 years ago, it was on a bipartisan basis. We couldn't prevail with 60 votes in the Senate. But since then, millions of Americans have come together to organize and mobilize for Dreamers, labor leaders, the business community, faith organizations, national security officials,